AITAH for telling my husband to leave me alone while I was in the hospital. I'm in my early 20s. My husband is in his early 30s. We've been married a year. We were not trying for a baby, but we do eventually want one. So about a month and a half ago, I started having some symptoms that I chalked up to a UTI. Which I know sounds stupid now, but it was non-specific things like cramps and burning. I waited about 2 weeks before crippling pain woke me up in the middle of the night, and I decided I needed to drive myself to the ER. However, I couldn't even drive because it hurt so badly. My husband took me, and turns out I was having an ectopic pregnancy, and it ruptured. It was a very shocking experience. I hadn't even known I was pregnant. I had surgery and ended up with sepsis. I was very groggy and in a lot of pain for the following days. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. All of that to explain why I was even in the hospital. As I mentioned, it was so shocking. I was so upset about losing a baby I wasn't even trying for but would have loved so much, on top of just being in pain, and hating being in the hospital. Never in my life have I struggled with or experienced anxiety, but I think I started having it while in the ICU. The doctors had prescribed me some medication that I could ask for, but my husband advised me not to. He's weirdly anti-medication for depression or anxiety, things like that, so I never did. However, one night, I just had a bad night and had so much anxiety and fear around everything. They had to remove one of my fallopian tubes, so I was just so upset that I might not ever have a baby again. And I lost one. And I was in pain and everything. My husband was at my side, but he wasn't being very comforting, and the nurse came in because she said my heart rate was really up. She suggested the anxiety medication, so I said yes. My husband didn't say anything until she gave it to me and left, but then he started to lecture me on how I don't need more medication, and I need to work on calming my breathing and relaxing. We bickered for truly an hour before I eventually just snapped and told him to leave alone. He was so shocked and offended that he left the hospital completely and didn't come back until the next night, and continued to be offended. He told me I should have never shut him out of that conversation, and I was so upset, I just let him lecture me again. That was some weeks ago, and he's never brought it up again and seems not to care, but I'm still upset. AITAH for doing that?